Hey guys, Frightener22 here, back with Hot Topics, part 2 of my Nick Rewind collection segments. So, as I left off on my part 1 video, the two releases that I really just couldn't hold back on not getting were the first two seasons of probably one of the most beloved classic Nick cartoons of all time. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about Rugrats. Now, I was really a little weary of buying these. Like I said, these are burn on demand, so that collector's mentality really does get into you because it's like the company's really cheaping out and they're treating the people that really loved these shows like assholes. It's like, okay, well, these shows made us a shit ton of money back in the day, and as a side note specifically, Rugrats was making them money up until 2004 when it was officially canceled. So it's really hilarious just how quick they are to forget about shows that made them so much money not even that long ago. So nonetheless, I was a little weary in buying these because I'm aware that these, as much as these are the closest thing to releases, they're not true releases. I think every collector of DVDs will understand where I'm getting at. They're burn on demand. Warner Brothers with their Warner Archive collection is getting into this, so I think a lot of people realize that they're releasing hot titles, but, you know, if that's the only way that you can possibly get them, and if that'll increase the chances of them officially getting a release, then I think at the end of the day, you don't really have much of a choice. But like I said, I figured I hadn't bought anything else from this burn-on-demand program, so I figured, why not test the waters with Rugrats? Well, needless to say, I think it would be really easy to bitch out Nickelodeon again, but I will give credit where credit is due. These releases were actually really good looking. I was afraid that they were going to be really cheap looking with, like, you know, marker handwriting on the discs like Rugrats Disc 1, but nonetheless, I mean, look at these. If you walked into a store and saw this, I mean, wouldn't you think that these are actually legit releases? I mean, even I was really surprised. Even the disc art was really surprising. I mean, that's pretty good quality for, you know, something that's burn on demand. But like I said, even knowing it's burn on demand and you gave the treatment to these boxes and these discs, $32, that's a little ridiculous, I think, because there's no special features on these two releases, the first two seasons. There's no special features, so literally what they did, they just took the master tapes, which looked really good and held up really good over time. The colors are really bright and crisp. But like I said, there's no special features, and they are, after all, burn on demand. I think that a $32 price tag is a little much. Not even to mention, if you go and look at the other shows that are a part of the Nick Rewind, the burn on demand program on Amazon.com, I believe Hey Arnold is $35.99. That is a fucking joke. $35.99 for burned on demand products, that's a little ridiculous, but I think I can hold out a little bit longer before I, you know, take a dance on the wild side with those. But as much as I gave as many kind words as I could to these burn on demand titles, there and behold lies a problem. They've released the first two seasons of Rugrats now, first two seasons of Doug, first two seasons of Hey Arnold. Would you ever think to complete a fucking show? Holy shit, man. Like, what is going on? Like, they do two seasons each of these shows, and I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe that Doug was the first show to be released through this burn-on-demand program. So one would think that they would just continue releasing the seasons as they go along and making them available. Because like I said, you're burning them on demand. It's only available to the people that put the orders in for them. So why don't you have all the seasons and all the episodes already readily available, so when an order comes in, you can just do them? Why not? Like, there's no pre-order listings, there's no nothing. It's just you only have these two seasons. So that's annoying, knowing that you're going to dump money into a program that supposedly is burning them on demand, but yet they don't even have the full run readily available, you know, to be made up yet. That's a little ridiculous. It seems like they're already harking back to, oh, let's see how the sales do on these, if it's even worth dragging our fat asses to get the master tapes and putting record on while the DVDs go on. Like, I don't understand it. And again, with the cheapskate is with this company. But in addition to these, I should have mentioned this probably slightly before, but nonetheless, before the Burn on Demand program came on, through starting in July of 2007 into May of 2008, Nick Rewind was available through iTunes, so you could actually purchase a bunch of Nick Rewind shows through iTunes. And this is the thing that pisses me off yet again, is because a lot of the things that are on the iTunes Nick Rewind collection are not available on the Burn on Demand and have never been officially released on DVD in stores or anything like that. It's like, let me just give you a little taste of what they've offered. They've offered Rocket Power Best of Volume 1, the Angry Beavers Best of Volume 1, the first entire season of Hey Dude, which, might I add, according to the top 10 unreleased TV shows on DVD.com, Hey Dude ranks at number 9 out of every single TV show that has never been released ever on DVD. Hey Dude ranks up on number 9, and they dump it onto the shitty iTunes thing so you can burn it, pay for it, and have it on your fucking iPod. That is ridiculous. Moving on, they have the first season of Our Real Monsters and the first season of As Told by Ginger. It's like, well then what are they waiting for with that? I mean, Our Real Monsters, I mean, that may as well have been considered like the second batch of, like, you know, the classic Nicktoons cartoons. As Told by Ginger came a little late in the game, but I would still classify it as a classic Nicktoon. I don't know what they're beating around the bush for with Our Real Monsters and the Angry Beavers out of the Nicktoons. So that's what they're offering through iTunes. But like I said, I mean, why would you want to fork your money over to have it on, you know, a digital format like iTunes to watch on your computer or your iTunes? It's just like, why is Nickelodeon and Viacom so ridiculous and finding it so hard to just release standard hard copies that can be released in stores so that everybody can be, you know, readily available, you know, be ready to buy them? I just don't understand that. Now, if what they're saying is that the sales were just so low on them and they just didn't think that it was a worthy investment of theirs, which is ridiculous, because if, like I've said many times in this segment, if you would have promoted them, the word would have gotten out through word of mouth, and these would have sold out the ass. Not even to mention, harking back to the season 1 of Pete and Pete, there was only episodes, and if I recall correctly, the price tag on that on the day of release wasn't even $20, so I don't understand what kind of profit they were truly thinking they wanted to make with such a short season and such a low price tag to begin with. But what I think, now, if they think that money and a worthy investment is the problem, here's what you should do. Continue making these, but make them in limited quantities and sell them exclusively through your website. Make them 1,500 copies only. So based on that, if those do well, you'll make an announcement that more will be pressed in the near future, just to, you know, cock tease your audience, just to, have the interest skyrocket a little bit more, because that's just how business works. But do that. Sell them exclusively through the Nick store of actual DVDs, but just make them limited edition copies. Like, what would be so hard about that? That is how you would really drive the consumer into wanting to buy them. I mean, you know, I'm no business major, but all the Nick, the classic Nick fans out there and people that have been dying for these kind of releases, don't you think that would make a little bit more sense, and wouldn't you buy them? Because I sure as hell would. So, moving on, one of the small reasons I'd like to note that people think that the Nick Rewind collection had gotten canceled was because Nick's parent company, Viacom, was in the process of splitting with CBS, and Nickelodeon's president, Herb Scannell, had stepped down at this time. So a lot of people actually believe that that's the reason that these Nick Rewind collections had been halted indefinitely, because, you know, with Herb Scannell stepping down, they probably figured out with the old, in with the new, close the door on it, which is just ridiculous, because, I mean, that just goes to show you that, you know, whoever is running Nickelodeon at this time just really has no consideration for the fan base and all the people that truly made Nickelodeon what it is. I mean, they offered great, wonderful programs, but it wouldn't have been made possible without the help of all the kids that watched it throughout the year. So I just think that it's, you know, really inconsiderate of this company to just shut the book on them. Again, guys, tune in to part 3 of my Hot Topics Nick Rewind collection to see more. Thanks, guys.